sleep in his arms at hospital. She was feeling very dizzy. His condition was extremely bad. Taehyung, doctor, you can go home now. I'll take care of everything else. Vian, no, my duty is not over yet. Holding her dizzy head, she said. Taehyung, Vian, I'm telling you, please go home and get some rest. You don't look well to me. You will only be able to take care of the patients if you are healthy yourself. If you fall sick, then who will look after the patients? And besides, it's just a matter of a few hours. I'll call you in the morning. Anyway, this time Taehyung softened his tone a little, and she paused as she looked at his face. Vian, and what if the senior doctor comes? It was a small fear quietly settled deep in her heart. Taehyung, I'll handle him too. Don't you trust my skills? As he narrowed his eyes and stared at her intently, she could not help but smile openly. Vian, you are the only one I trust. I don't even feel like trusting anyone else. Even though she did not want to, her tone had turned bitter. Taehyung, come on now. Don't spoil your mood. Go home and get some rest. I'll see you in the morning. Vian thanked him and walked out of the patient's room. She went to the staff room, gathered her things, and headed toward the car. It was around 1 a.m. when she turned on her phone and saw that there were hundreds of missed calls from her mother. Her uncle had come over today and he had specifically expressed the wish to meet her, but she had been so busy that she could not find the time to go and see him or even call to check on him. She had only driven a short distance when suddenly she slammed on the brakes at the sight of a figure in the middle of the road. Looking closely, she saw a young man lying unconscious with blood splattered all around him. Her heart began to race wildly. Lately, cases of robbery in the city had increased significantly. She did not know what to do. Should she go and help the young man, or just leave him there in that condition and drive away? Vian had a very kind heart. She could not bear to see anyone in pain. After thinking for a moment, she opened the door of her car. She opens the car door and starts walking toward him with small, cautious steps. At the same time, she keeps looking around in all directions. When Jungkook sensed the sound of approaching footsteps, he slowly opened his eyes and saw a petite girl standing there. She was wearing a mask on her face and her hair was left open. She was walking toward him. Jungkook, go away from here. Jungkook slightly raised his hand and said in a faint voice, but she could not hear what he said. She went closer and knelt beside him, only to see that Jungkook had been shot. One bullet had hit his shoulder and the other had struck his leg. Why? Oh my god, who did this to you? She said it instinctively and quickly tore a piece of her scarf, tying it over the areas where the blood was flowing. Before doing that, she had checked his pulse. It was still beating. Wayne gently placed his head in her lap and began softly patting his face. Jungkook was surprised by this girl. Before her, several cars had passed by, but everyone had ignored Jungkook's presence, and those who had seen him left thinking he was probably already dead. All those people were so crowded that none of them had the courage to even go and check if he was still alive or not. Jungkook, go away from here. Jungkook said it once again in a faint voice, but she ignored his words and began speaking to him angrily. Wayne, stop talking and just lie down quietly. You don't need to make any effort right now. She tried to lift him up but stumbled and fell to the ground herself. Wayne, God, how heavy are you? What am I supposed to do now? How do I lift this man? Wayne muttered to herself as she tried once again to pick him up. Meanwhile, on the other side, Jungkook's condition was steadily getting worse. Wayne, after much struggle, dragged him and somehow managed to lay him down on the back seat of the car, then took her place in the front seat. Jungkook, girl, do you have no desire to stay alive? This time Jungkook said it to Wayne in a much louder voice. Wayne, I'm actually more passionate about saving other people's lives than my own, and now you have got your answer, have not you? So do me a favor and keep your mouth shut. And honestly, I have to give you credit. Despite losing so much blood, you are still conscious and talking. Jungkook, do you even realize how deep of a trap you could be falling into? Jungkook ignored her previous comment and said it again firmly. Wayne, and who are you to talk to me like that? Do you even know anything about me? Wayne replied in a clear and direct tone. Darkness began to separate before Jungkook's eyes, and he started drifting away from the world around him. But even before losing consciousness, his mind was filled with worry for Wayne, and that had never happened to him before. Few minutes later. Taehyung, doctor, why are you back? When Taehyung saw Wayne again in the hospital corridor, he walked toward her in surprise, but just then his eyes fell on the stretcher that the nurse were dragging quickly into the emergency room. Taehyung, what happened and who is this boy? Wayne, I don't know anything about him yet. I found him injured on the road, so I brought him to the hospital. Wayne replied to Taehyung in a straightforward tone and then walked into the emergency room herself. Why? Dr. Taehyung, why are you still standing there? The patient's condition is critical. Please come inside quickly. After 3 hours later. After a 3 hours long surgery, Ryan finally stepped out of the operating room. Her own condition was now deteriorating. Darkness clouded her vision, and her whole body was burning with fever. Yet, even in this state, she had fulfilled her duty. Nurse, Dr. Ryan, the patient is asking for you. When Ryan heard her name being called, she instinctively turned around and saw a nurse about her age standing there. Ryan placed a hand on her chest, almost needing to confirm if she really heard it right. Nurse, yes, he's asking for you. He's saying, call that brave doctor who brought me here. I want to reward her. And aside from that, some strange people have gathered in his room too. I don't know who they are. Hearing this, Ryan also found herself catch in confusion. But the moment Ryan stepped into the private room, the sight in front of her made her head spin for a moment. Because he was no longer alone. Along with him, there were three other men in the room. All three were dressed in black suits, and all of them were incredibly handsome. Their faces were covered with masks, and they each had a gun in their hands. Ryan's heart began to race uncontrollably. Who are these people? She wondered instinctively but did not have the courage to speak. She glanced briefly at the bed, at the patient who now had a faint smile on his lips as he looked at her. There was no sign that he had just undergone surgery or had come back from the edge of death only moments ago. Ryan, did you call for me? Ryan asked Jungkook. Jungkook, yes, I did. Thank you so much for giving me the honor of meeting you. He placed a hand on his chest and spoke in a flirtatious tone, which made her clench her teeth in frustration. Holding back her anger, she snapped back at him. Ryan, look, mister, whoever you are, I have nothing to do with you. My only job was to help you, and I already done that. Hearing her words, one of the guards angrily stepped forward, but Jungkook raised his hand and stopped him. Jungkook, do you have any idea who you are talking to right now? Ryan, I don't know who you are, and I honestly don't care to find out. And even if you are some high ranking officer, it still would not make a difference to me because I have absolutely no respect for those kinds of officers who misuse their power for the wrong reasons. Seeing Ryan's courage, Jungkook was visibly impressed and even a little amused. Jungkook, impressive. I must say, you deserve some real credit. Until today, no girl has ever had the guts to speak to me like that. But I can't say anything to you because you are my savior, and until I repay this favor of yours, I won't be at peace either. Saying this, Jungkook signaled to his guard. The guard stepped forward and handed a small bag to Won. Won was stunned as soon as she opened the bag. Her eyes widened in shock. It was filled with bundles of 5,000 rupees notes. Won, what is all this? The bag slipped from Won's hands and fell to the floor. Jungkook, just a small reward meant for you. Seeing so much money all at once made Won feel dizzy. It was not that she came from a poor background. Her father was a very successful businessman. But even then, she had never seen such a huge amount of cash in one place before. Won, who are you? This time Won asked in a trembling voice. Just then Dr. Taehyung entered the room, grabbed her arm and dragged her out. Seeing this, Jungkook made an annoyed face. Jungkook, where did this rival come from in my love story? Jungkook said while looking at his guards. Guard, sir, if you want, we can remove him from your path. Jungkook, no, that won't be necessary. I know exactly how to deal with him myself. Other side. Taehyung, what were you doing near that wild man? Why do you even realize who he is? Taehyung looked into Won's eyes, speaking with visible worry. Won, no, I don't know who that guy is. Taehyung, Won, he is the most notorious gangster of all. Jungkook. Won, Taehyung, what are you saying? Taehyung, yes, I'm telling the truth. And those men standing inside, they are his guards. Won, oh no, what have I done? I saved a gangster's life. If I had now, I would left him there to die. I would never brought him to the hospital. Won said in a tone filled with disgust. Taehyung, no, this is not your fault. What you did out of basic humanity. And for now, just forget about all this. Go home and get some rest. Won no longer had the strength to drive, so Taehyung offered to drop her home himself. On the way, she sat with her head resting against the seat, silent until she heard Taehyung's voice. Taehyung, Won, don't stress at all because of that man. I'll handle everything. Won, but Taehyung, I don't know why I saw a strange kind of spark in his eyes, and the way he was looking at me, like he was going to devour me alive. Taehyung, it's nothing like that. Won, you're just overthinking it. Don't worry, just stay home and rest for a few days. Won, this is a hospital, Taehyung, and I can't just take leave whenever I want. She spoke through gritted teeth, clearly frustrated. Taehyung, I'll talk to them about you, and you don't know my father has good connections. Taehyung tried to reassure her gently. Fine, if that's possible, then fine. I'll depend on you for now. Taehyung, I say, why not depend on me for a lifetime? Saying that, Taehyung smiled openly, and a faint smile appeared on Wyan's lips as well. Wyan, that time is not too far. She said softly, then closed her eyes. A little while later, Wyan, come inside to Taehyung. Wyan asked Taehyung to come in with her. Taehyung, not now, but I'll definitely come some other time. Saying that, Taehyung turned and walked away. As soon as Wyan entered the house, she saw her uncle sitting right in front of her. Seeing his niece, he lit up with joy and opened his arms wide. And Wyan immediately ran into his embrace. Wyan, how are you, uncle? Uncle, I'm perfectly fine, my child, but you tell me, seems like you don't care about us at all. We have been waiting for you since yesterday, and only now does our busy doctor finally have time for us. Wyan, uncle, there was an emergency case last night. That's why I got late. Otherwise, I had left the hospital by 1 a.m. Wyan said softly, rubbing her forehead tiredly. Uncle, alright then, I'll forgive you this time. Let's call it your last mistake. But if you make me wait this long again, you will be punished. Lee was also sitting on the sofa with them, one leg crossed over the other, calmly applying oil while watching her, as if he had nothing better to do in the world. Wyan hesitated for a moment but then composed herself and sat down there. However, he could not sit for more than 5 minutes. She quietly got up, went to her room, took her medicine, and went to sleep. At midnight, it was late at night when Wyan's phone rang. She saw it was a call from unknown number. Her heart began to race. On call. Jungkook, how are you, madam? I have been waiting for you for so long, and you have not even bothered to grace me with your presence. Hearing an unfamiliar male voice, a chill ran down Wyan's spine. Wyan, who are you? Jungkook, I'm the one you pulled back from the jaws of death, the one you gave a new life to. Wyan, if I had known what a disgusting person you are, I would not have just avoided saving your life. I would not have even looked in your direction. In fact, I would spit on you and walk away. Jungkook, oh my love, that does not sound like your voice at all. Feels like someone's been filling your head with things against me. That must be why you are speaking so bitterly. Wyan, who does not know what kind of filthy people gangsters are? Murder and destruction are practically their favorite hobbies. Jungkook, oh, then someone has clearly told you the wrong things about me. Wyan, whoever it was, I don't care. I have no interest in talking to you. You called today, fine, but don't ever try to contact me again. With that, Ryan ended the call and immediately blocked the number. But barely a few seconds had passed when her phone rang again, this time from another unknown number. Jungkook, no matter how many of my numbers you block, I'll keep calling you from new ones. Ryan, what is it that you actually want from me? Jungkook, I just want you to come to the hospital and treat me under your supervision. Ryan, but your people were saying that you don't need these medicines, nor do you need these machines. Jungkook, yes, you are absolutely right. If you are with me, then I truly won't need any of these things because for me, just you are enough. Jungkook's voice turned sweet and his tone became completely soft. Ryan, if you don't want me to strangle you with my own hands, then do me a favor and stop following me. I hate people like you. Jungkook, just give me one chance. I'll turn that hatred of yours into love, and if I fail to do that, then I'm not worthy of the name Jungkook. This time, Vine angrily cut the call and switched off her phone before lying down, but sleep was now here near her eyes. Suddenly, she heard the rumbling of thunder, and a cool breeze began to enter the room. The intense heat had finally subsided to a great extent, and the weather had turned pleasant and calm. Ryan got up from the bed and walked over to the window. The clouds were roaring, and it looked like it might start raining soon. She loved the rain. In fact, getting drenched in it was one of her favorite things. The lights in the lounge were still on, and as soon as the raindrops began to hit the ground, Vine excitedly changed her clothes and stepped out of her room. Now she was headed toward the lounge. Lee, who was standing in the kitchen making coffee for himself, smiled widely when he saw Vine rushing toward the lounge. He knew exactly how much she loved the rain. She had always been like this since childhood. Whenever it rained, she would run outside to get drenched. It never mattered to her whether it was day or night. All that mattered was fulfilling her little desire. Ryan now stood with her face turned toward the sky, feeling the raindrops touch her skin gently. Lee placed his coffee cup aside and walked over to the kitchen window because what he was about to witness was even more beautiful than the rain itself. Ryan was now spinning in circles like a little child. A sweet smile spread across her lips. Just moments ago, she had been arguing with Jungkook, but the rain had washed those thoughts away completely. Only 5 minutes had passed when Lee's phone began to ring. To be continued.